All right, folks, welcome back to the very appropriately named Steve Malzberg Show. It wasn't that long ago that we were all talking about the IRS scandal. Of course, that's all been, taken care of. Just ask the ranking member on the House committee that was investigating it, one of the House committees, and just ask Barack Obama. It's a phony scandal, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that. Nonetheless, the Obama administration now... the same groups that they were targeting that led to the investigation, conservative groups, Tea Party groups, pro-Israeli groups, now they want to limit a bunch of those groups. The IRS is changing the rules, and they're aimed, I believe, at gagging conservatives, many conservative groups. Joining us now to talk about all this is David Bossie, President and Chairman of Citizens United. Hello, David.
Hey, Steve, how are you? Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming on. I was listening to somebody over the weekend on one of the shows, and they said, wasn't this all decided in the Citizens United Supreme Court case? What's going on here?
Well, we thought it was, and of course, when the left, which hates the First Amendment, because if you disagree with them, they don't want to have a spirited debate. They don't want to have the intellectual exercise of having to defend their positions. What they want is to have silence. And the left's always been about silence and silencing the opposition. So that's why they created the mechanisms of campaign finance so that it would silence people across the country. And Citizens United, a small conservative organization, decided to take on the federal government, take on the Federal Election Commission, because we felt that our First Amendment rights were being trampled on, that we as a 501c4 organization had a fundamental First Amendment right to do the things that we wanted to do in the public space, that we had a voice and we wanted to be able to speak. And of course, the Federal Election Commission and Congress, the United States Senate and Congress, told us we didn't have the right. And not only did we not have the right, if I actually did those things, I could be punished by possible prison time, 5 years per count, as a matter of fact. Wow. So I just told my lawyers, we're not going to wait for them to come after us. That's why it's not the FEC versus the Citizens United. It's Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission, and it's because we were on the offense. We sued them. We weren't waiting around. I sued them. I sued the government because what they're doing with the IRS now is the same thing the FEC was doing. They were trying to squelch speech, and they were trying to squelch conservative speech. So once they lost the Supreme Court case, Barack Obama went to the State of the Union and demanded that Congress take action, demanded that regulatory agencies take action, which is what begot us the IRS scandal to begin with.
Right.
And it was from his words that the IRS decided, hey, let's make it more difficult for these conservative groups, these Tea Party groups, these really bad guys to get their applications passed. So they did that. Now all of a sudden, the IRS is now going to change the rules so that they're not in trouble for stopping these 501c4 organizations. They're just not going to allow them to participate in the political process.
It is so amazing what you're describing, and it's so true. The new guidelines would curtail activities such as running ads, distributing literature, and getting and organizing get out the vote campaigns. By the way, this is everything that got Obama elected from his groups on the other side of the political spectrum.
And Steve, two of those three, okay, the first two, we weren't doing flyers, about elections, but I mean, we were running ads. And we wanted to be able to run ads for our films. And that particular film talked about what a bad candidate and what a bad president Hillary Clinton was going to be in 2007, 2008. And so we decided, hey, we want to have our right to be able to speak, just like Michael Moore and Hollywood had the chance to say what a bad president George Bush was in Fahrenheit 9/11. So we took it to the Supreme Court and we won. And this is how they try to undo a Supreme Court ruling.
Right. This isn't even legislation, but this fits with the Obama administration's MO, as I think we've talked about.
This is governing by executive fiat.
Right. And that's what he does. You know, the whole argument for Obamacare from the left was it's settled law. Settled law until Obama changes it and makes it his own settled law, and he's been doing that ever since. He's done it with immigration reform. He's done it with the welfare work requirement. Did it with DOMA. He does it with whatever he wants.
Right. If he doesn't like it, it's not settled law. I mean, if he likes it, if he agrees with it, it's by all means settled. But if he don't like it, oh no.
Or if he wants to just change,
settled.
if he wants to just change a part that he likes, he could do that too. Let me ask you this: so how is this? Is this going to undo? I mean, in layman's terms, is this going to undo what the Supreme Court ruled?
Well, I don't. Look, if the IRS goes forward with these possible rules changes, then what it will do is it will bring back a burden on C4s that it had prior to our Supreme Court case. So, what we would have to do, and we're going to be filing. During this period of time that they're asking for comments, there's a comment period that I think is through February. Citizens United is clearly going to be putting in our comments during this period, and we are going to make sure that they understand that Citizens United, the same organization that fought the Federal Election Commission from this extra constitutional, in my opinion, these things that are outside of the government's power, that outside of the First Amendment, that we will fight the IRS as well. I'm not interested in a fight with the IRS. I do not want to do that. I hope that they will not make these rules. But clearly the President of the United States has made clear to the IRS commissioner that he wants these rules. And so we are going to have to fight this battle one day at a time.
Are you talking?
First will come the rules.
Yeah. Okay, but are you talking about if the IRS goes through with this? Are you talking when you say be heard and weigh in? Are you talking about a lawsuit?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just want to make that clear. Well, just want to make that clear. Yeah, you didn't use the term, so I just wanted to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we're talking to David Bossie here on the Steve Malzberg Show, and he, of course, is president and chairman of Citizens United. Let me ask you before we let you go. Congress doesn't have standing. I mean, Congress could impeach over something they think is, high crime, misdemeanor, unconstitutional behavior, breaking the law, whatever. But that's not going to happen. At least it's not going to happen until there's a Republican Senate. Even if they have the nerve then to do it, I doubt it. But there is we've had him on the show, an orthodontist down in Orlando who is suing to have Obamacare enforced as it was written and passed. Not that he's a fan of it. He hates it. And it's going to cost him money. But he just doesn't like the fact that the president's doing what he's doing with these laws. So he's going after the Obamacare in particular. But your group, another group, two groups in conjunction, who could try to rein in the president, if the Congress isn't going to act and they can't sue him in court because they don't have standing, who's going to go after the unconstitutional behavior that he's exhibited without any blink of an eye?
Right. Well, we actually, it brings up another point, but what this guy's doing, we actually launched a project called Live by Your Laws, which is livebyyourlaws.com. I urge people to go to it, and it is for people to be able to go and sign a petition to force Congress to live by the very laws that they passed. And it was based on the Vitter Amendment. David Vitter, the senator from Louisiana,
with regard to health care,
has it based on health care because because the president has given Congress an exemption from the law, and there's exemptions from this law, and that's what this man in Orlando that you're talking about is saying is that hey, no exemptions. If this thing was so good, if Nancy Pelosi was right, we got to find out what's in it once we pass it.
And no delays. He's also saying no delays, no special favors. The law was passed, enforce it. That's what he's saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's an interesting idea. But live by your laws is fundamentally to health care.
Right.
So that David Vitter, who is a United States senator, who's saying, look, we pass these laws and make the American people live by them. We should live by them as well. And I fully support it. I urge people to go sign a petition that Citizens United has started with David.
Sounds real good. Hey, Dave, always a good pleasure to talk to you. And if we don't speak, have a wonderful Christmas and New Year's.
Thank you, sir. Same to you.
Take care. David Bossie, ladies and gentlemen. Citizens United President and Chairman here on the Steve Malzberg Show. And, President does not like the court's decision, does not like Citizens United. And what we're witnessing is really, again, you cease to be surprised. I cease to be surprised. You may continue to be surprised. I can't speak for you. I cease to be surprised. I cease to be shocked. But I do not cease to be outraged. In fact, my outrage builds. My outrage increases with each shock and surprise, which does not shock and surprise me anymore. You following me? I know it's hard to follow, but we've never had a president. We've never had a president who rules by dictate. Now, when Maria Conchita Alonso was speaking, I could have done a whole rant on how, Obama's taking notes, but I refrained from saying that. So notice I didn't say that Obama's taking notes, because I got to tell you, if Obama decided to do something like Maria was talking about as being done in Venezuela, and we were talking about being, putting limits on car prices, taking over electronics companies, all for the greater good. All for the greater good, of course. Everything's for the greater good. Making you buy insurance and telling you what you need, maternity coverage if you're a man, that's for the greater good. Everything is the EPA regulating people out of business, the regulations, everything is for the greater good. You understand that, of course. Don't doubt that for a second. Hey, could you think you'll wake up one day and the news media will say Obama's put in profit limits? No company could have more than a 30% profit margin? Would I be shocked? Would I be blown over? No, nothing would. No, he could do what he wants. He is doing what he wants. No one's stopping him. No one's stopping him. He's doing it through his health care bill. He's doing it through his judicial appointments. He's going to stock the D.C. Circuit Bench, and any decision related to Obamacare or EPA regulations, it'll all go through that court. They'll all rule in Obama's favor. It's all over. Or he just says, you don't have to follow that law for a year. You don't have to follow that law for a year. You don't have to work under the welfare rule, the work requirement in welfare. I'm changing that. We're not going to deport this person and that person and people like them. We're not going to enforce DOMA. We're not going to enforce that law. Who is he? And everybody I talk to says it's unconstitutional. Say it's almost unprecedented. It's unlawful. It's lawless. But who is doing anything to stop it? That's the part that's frightening. In addition to the fact that he's doing it. Hey, he's doing it, and no one's stopping him. No one's even talking about it. Do you hear Boehner and McConnell, or you see them have press conferences and say what I'm saying to you right now? They should do it every single day and say, "Hey, America, wake up." And they should do something about it themselves, whatever they could do. A resolution, power grabbing, unconstitutional, not supposed to be done, pass a resolution, something. Nothing from our side. Okay, folks, we're coming back. Oh, we got no guest, free segment on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
A hot new book by Craig Smith